Om. 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 वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ. Salutations to Lord Ganesha and Gayatri Ma, who will bring enlightenment, abundance, and knowledge. May we have a wonderful session and may we learn to share together in the light. And now I invoke Lord Hanumanji. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Barnu Raghubar Bimal Jasu जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जान के सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार. So that is the doha that begins Hanuman Chalisa, and invite Lord Hanumanji. Last week we talked about all the different meanings, where the beginnings, all the. I don't know if Rama, you're here today, so if you got to see last week's slide or the presentation, but I would encourage whoever hasn't seen it, go through it. The slides actually are pretty much my discussion. What was not covered in the slides was something that I shared. They're little secrets I will share with you. As you know, Hanumanji is known to be Pavan Kumar, which means the wind god's son. And the wind or breath as it is within our body. So wind is what gives us life on this planet. Wind or breath within us gives us life. It also carries that essence of pran. Pran is a little different than breath. I explained that last week. What's the difference? But as he is known as pran, he's the one when we control our breath. It is the switch that controls our mind and our thought field. It is the switch that controls our inputs from our senses and our outputs of our projected reality. And so when we invoke Lord Hanuman, we are actually invoking that essence of pran. And I told you, I think I shared this last week, is that I begin every time by taking 3 breaths. Whether I say Om loudly or I say it internally, that 3 breaths, if you notice how quickly your heart rate goes down, because it goes from that parasympathetic and sympathetic system. So it goes from that fight or flight sympathetic system into a parasympathetic system, which means it immediately calms down. So it's a trick a lot of people use. And I will, today's discussion, as I start explaining about Hanumanji and the Chalisa, a lot of people in power use this trick. If you've ever seen somebody walk into a big meeting, they learn, your heart palpitations might be happening, you might have erratic breath, but they are able to automatically switch into this mode. Why? Sometimes we all naturally can use this. Knowledge is not something that is something new that we have discovered, that I'm now sharing with you, that in the 2000s we all of a sudden know how to use our breath. This knowledge existed from the time we became human beings. Babies tap into it immediately. If you ever watch a baby, either sleeping or awake, you start tapping into the energies and knowledge of the universe that are already innately within us. We as humans start tamping them down and we start shutting down that knowledge. And as we become adults, so much of this is gone. And that's what puts us into these sessions of trouble. Sweetheart, do you mind closing that door because noise will come? So today, last week we talked about the two dohas. I just want to quickly start and explain them more time because I think it's important. What a way to invoke, what a way to call. Now, why do we call on Hanumanji? Why even like go down this path of devotion? Um, Something came to me today very profoundly in my meditation because I was asking about, why am I sitting here? And there's so many people last week who came who just necessarily don't who say they're not on the path of bhakti. They don't want to sit there doing chanting bhajans. They're not involved in going to mandirs. Um, and how does this relate to me? Is the question always, right? How does it relate to me? And what I wanted to share, what it came to me was that it doesn't matter whether you are on the path of bhakti or gyan or you are on the pursuit of becoming, the CEO or the top manager of your company, or you want to be a fantastic doctor or anything in your professions. All pursuits require us to gain inner strength and inner knowledge. All pursuits come to some sort of fruition. And how we deal with those, the fruition of it, of our acts, is what is important. And that's why you go to something as simple as Hanuman Chalisa. To me, Hanuman Chalisa came in a very dark period in my life. It was basically I we were having a very difficult time, and one of the priests or somebody said to me, "You should chant the Hanuman Chalisa." Now I've been chanting this very regularly. It comes naturally to me. I've already memorized it on my own within 2 days of hearing it when I first got the book. And that's, I talked about it last week about that experience. But the Hanuman Chalisa gives you solace. Because think about it. If I said Brahma, Sanjay, Anjali, anybody's name, immediately your attention picks up because it's your name. The universe operates in the same way. The consciousness in the universe exists in many forms. We just coalesce it into the image of what we want to see. But what's important is how do you invoke it? Invoking is by calling it by its name. So whether you call on, which is why the name has so much power, right? We talk about Ram, or we talk about Shiva, we talk about anything we call the cosmic universe. We ask for divine intervention. We say Jesus Christ, God. When you say those names, that energy forms and comes to your assistance. You don't have to see it. You don't have to feel it. You just have to believe in it. It comes. So sometimes we go blindly, as I did. I said, fine, I'm not sure what this is going to do for me. Let me chant it. As they said, chant it about 11 times or do it for 45 days straight. They're different auspicious numbers. And so I did. And I have to tell you, there is definitely a power behind invoking or chanting something, or even just listening to that chant. So, what is the beginning of Hanuman Chalisa? It starts off by saying, Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj, Nij Manu Mukur Sudhar, saying, I'm bowing down at the feet of my Guru because it is the Guru who will take you to the higher realms. It is the Guru that will point the direction for you because you're on your own path. Everybody has their own path. It doesn't matter what path they're on. And when they point to that, you will get to see how do you do that? You do that, oops, by cleaning the mirror of your mind. Why do we say clear the mirror of your mind? It is the mind that creates this whole reality for us. It is the mind that we cannot control with its multitude of thoughts. And so we offer that, and it says, Hanumanji, I offer you my mind. I am trying to polish off this mirror so that you may reflect through this. It is your grace that will give me the fruit of the four fruit that we talked about. So let me read the second part. बुद्धिहीन तनु जान के सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार Buddhihin, I have no mind. I am stupid, ignorant. Without any of that knowledge, I pray to you, I bow down to you. I seek the four fruits of knowledge, strength, intellect, and a mind free of fear. Bal buddhi vidya dehu mohi harhu kales vikar. So that I may every challenge that comes my way, may I overcome it with ease. Rama, I'm just going to turn your video off because we're recording. Okay. So now we are on the first doha. Oops, I must finish it. Okay. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर. It says Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar. What is we are invoking Hanumanji. What is the first thing that comes to you? Hanumanji, you are the ocean of Gyan. We are asking him for that which he has the ability to give you. What is that? That is knowledge. He is the ocean of wisdom and knowledge. Without knowledge, our actions are pretty much mundane, may not bear the fruits that they're meant to. So one needs to have that knowledge and that wisdom to move forward. Jai Kapis hu loka ujagar. Who is Kapis? Kapis is another name for Hanumanji. It also means the one who has, and I explained Hanumanji's names. It's through his jaw. It is the seat of pran. So when you do pranayam or pran vidya, you learn that the pran or the life force, its seat is in our mouth, in the cavity of the mouth over here. Indra, I'm just going to mute you for a second. रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा. Oh, before I go on to the second verse, so let's go back to asking. He's the ruler of the three lokas. So it mentions Jai Kapisa Tihu Loka Ujagar. Tihu means three, the three lokas. As we understand, the three lokas are supposed to be Bhulok, Bhur, and Swaha, heaven, earth, and hell. The three lokas also symbolize the symbol of three. And I put Shiva's trident here because if you remember when we talked about Lord Shiva, I explained what the trident stands for. Trident stands for three qualities. This entire universe is built on these three qualities. Every atom, every part of your body, every organ, and every sense that you have contains three gunas. The three gunas are sattva, tamasic, and rajasic. These three, in different formulas, are the building blocks of the universe. Okay? They are the qualities that come out from our mind and our thoughts. When have you ever seen a person and you're like, you notice that, every time we talk to them, I give them ideas, and yet they don't seem to move forward. That person is not just lazy, it is a quality of being tamasic. That person has too much tamasic in them. Because in our bodies, We need tamas. So when you have worked, you did a workout and stuff, or you have been all active, at the end of the day, you need tamas to rest the body, to rest certain parts of your organs. So tamasic quality is not a negative quality. It is only negative when it is in excess. Similarly, we have the rajasic quality. The rajasic quality is the quality of activity. So when you wake up from a sleeping state, what do you need? You need the energy, you need the prana to start circulating in your body so that you can get your body up and moving, get ready, get going for the day. So that rajasic quality is really important. Now, when is it negative? Negative is when you see those people who are overactive. They don't know how to sit down. A lot of the times you'll notice this in special needs kids, right? They are either they're some of them have this over quality of like constantly needing to move, right? Sometimes we say, well, they just don't know how to tune their systems down. That's that's the off balance in them. Sattvic is the quality of purity. Everything that's good. It is pure, it is white. So those are the qualities that come out of us when we speak softly or sweetly, when our actions are full of love. That sattvic quality is coming through. So all three qualities are very essential in us. They are in different parts in our organs as well. In the atomic level, each atom, they say, even its ability, each cell for it to function requires all three properties. So the three that we talk about, Tihalok, the pran is the one that rules over all these. How does the pran rule over all these? It is through gyan, through knowledge. It is simply something that, as a physician, one would understand very well. Because, in a way, we have all come on this earth for healing. So, Hanumanji, the reason you call and invoke upon him is come and help me. Help me heal what is not in balance in my body, in my mind, on a cellular level, on a emotional level, on a chakra level. That is what Hanumanji comes to give you. And remember the four fruits that you have asked him for: Bal, strength; Vidya, knowledge; Buddhi, intelligence; um, and Gyan. Now I go to the second part, which says Ramadut Atulit Baldhama. It means you are the servant of Ram. Atulit. Atulit is a beautiful word. What does it mean? It means atulya, meaning ones who cannot be tul. Tul means to weigh. So one who cannot be weighed, meaning it's incomparable what type of servant Hanumanji is. And to whom is he the servant? Lord Ram. Ram Dut Atulit Baladhama Anjani Putra Pavan Sutanama. You are the son of Anjani and you are Pavan Putra's son. When I start uh, explaining some of these words, I am giving you the literal meaning, and then I'm also giving you the in-depth meaning. At the end of it, I also, when you see the arc of the story, you will understand the in-depth meaning of what each of these means. So, for instance, when the phrase comes and you're invoking Hanumanji, these are the first two shlokas in the 40 Chalisa, 40 verses. So you start by saying Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar, Jai Kapi Sati Hun Loka Jagar, meaning, O Lord Hanuman, you are the ocean of knowledge. You are the one who rules on the three levels. Now, I've told you what those three gunas are. He rules not just in the physical realms as we think of earth, heaven, and hell, but he's also the one who rules within your body, right? So the sattvic, the tamasic, and rajasic qualities, it is Hanuman, it is your pran that's ruling it. He is the god of pran. Ramadut Atulita Baldama. So who is he the servant of? If I take it in the symbolism of my body, The pran is the servant of the soul. Lord Ram is the soul that resides in your body. That pure, unfiltered connection to the super consciousness of the universe. He's the servant of this. Um, a lot of times, so this today, as I was telling Rama was in earlier, I said today in my meditation, I'd asked is like, why teach the Hanuman Chalisa to those who are not devotees or or do not know about him? It is not knowing that, one can go into the deep science of something and understand a subject in depth. That doesn't mean that so for instance, if the doctor gives me the medicine, I take it on faith. I don't necessarily need to know all the chemical compositions of it, right? And it works. Similarly, the Hanuman Chalisa, you take it for what it is. And slowly you will get the understanding of what is the chemical basis of this powerful, potent mantra. And how does it help you get a deeper understanding of who you are as a person? What is the breath in it? And when that breath leaves this human body, as it will, as everyone who is born must die, what is it that goes away and what remains with us? Um, Last week, I told you guys that there was an experiment done by the author of the book I'm referring to a lot. And it was his guru, and his guru had been part of many brain, as a meditator, many brain experiments by different universities, reputable universities. And when his guru died, he had asked this to be a promise that they would check if there were electrical signals and still continue to do the testing until his body would then be submerged in the Ganga. And so on the third day, so 3 days after the breath has left, they had electrodes on him and he still had electrical signal until the 72 hours had passed and it went away. That electrical signal was so low, it's known as the Pran signal. It was like, I forget, I think it was like 7.2 hertz. It's a very, very slight signal. It is a proof scientifically that the life force exists in the body. It is separate than the breath, but it is part of the breath. So going back to why is this important? Why is Hanumanji, if he is a god, if it is really Pran in us, why do we not worship him? Why do you worship Lord Ram? Why is he the servant of Lord Ram? Better yet, that's a better question. Why is he the servant? He's considered to be the servant because it is the soul that exists in this body. The Lord Ram is just a symbol of that cosmic soul. He's known as the avatar of Vishnu, but he is really an embodiment of our super consciousness, of God coming in a human form. And then Lord Hanuman is an exemplary devotee, without thought, without interaction, without worldly influences. He follows the word of Lord Ram, a perfect conduit. Therefore, he is known as Atulit. You cannot measure him. Anjani Putra Pavan Satanama. Um, I'm going to go to the next page to explain to you. You understand why is it important? We've already discussed that he's the Pavan Putra, who he is, and Anjani Putra. Okay. महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमित के संगी कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंजित केसा हाथ ब्रज और ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मूंज जनेयु साजे Mahavir Vikram Bajrangi. Mahavir means the one who is absolutely strong. Veer is a hero, meaning he's the one. What is his strength really? He has conquered all these emotions, greed. He has conquered enemies. He is the one who is compassionate beyond belief, forgiving and knowledgeable. That is the one. There's a definition of Veer given in another Upanishad that says, what is a Veer? What is a hero? It is one who has conquered greed, who has conquered enemies, and is forgiving, compassionate, and knowledgeable. So, this is who Mahavir is. Vikram Bajrangi. Bajrangi. That's a very interesting word, and I'm going to break it down to you. And I think I am supposed to tell you the story of the Vajra. So, in the times of when Shiva was around, the Dichi is a sage who was a big devotee of Lord Shiva. And he was basically the gods and the demons were having a big fight. And so the gods, the demons actually ascended into the heavens at this point. So the Devtas left running and they said, find us a place for shelter. And they came to Lord Shiva and Shiva said, go to the Dichi's ashram. He will protect you. And so with his mantras and his profound knowledge, the Dichi protected them. And at one point then, they were scared that the demons would come and get all their weapons. So the Dichi basically took all the weapons of the gods and he created some sort of a mantra and he imbibed them into his body. His body, his bones then became the Vajra weapon that is written about in the Upanishads and the Vedas. So Hanuman is known as Bajrangi, meaning the one who is as hard as that, all those instruments, and as hard as a diamond, as lightning fast and strong as a thunderbolt. That is the name of Bajrangi. That's how powerful Hanumanji is. It is within his bones. If you can feel that energy within yourself, you are imbibing his energy. Kumit Nivar Sumit Ke Sangi. Kumit Nivar, you remove all the evil intellects and you are the companion of those who have good thoughts. So he's an exemplary human, actually, not human. Remember, we talked about he's a monkey. And that is just to give us the understanding that doesn't matter how different your body might look, the essence in each of us is the same. And so he's the greatest hero, mighty as a thunderbolt, the one who removes the evil intellect of others, and the one who is the companion of the good. Kanchan Bharan Biraj Subesa. Kanchan Bharan Biraj Subesa. He wears golden, his body color and his earrings. He wears these round earrings. Kanchan Bharan Biraj Subesa. Kaan and Kundal Kunjase. Sorry. Kaan is your ears. Kundal is that he has curly hair. Why is this important to know his visual? Because when you sit and meditate and you call on someone, you visualize what they look like. And when you visualize Hanumanji, he's portrayed as one who's golden hues. And why do you think it's golden hue? Remember, the Tejasvi or the aura or the light that comes through is golden because it comes from 1,000 suns. It is the projection through him that you experience Lord Ram. And so this is a description of him. There's a very interesting pierced ears. There's a symbolism why the ears that are pierced is important. I don't know if you all remember these stories or have seen them in other comic books, but basically, those who were learned men, if you look at the Buddha or you look at the Bodhisattvas, you will notice their ears are very long. It is a symbol of deep knowledge because people who are knowledgeable, guess what they are? Very good listeners. They are able to listen, filter, ruminate, and then let that knowledge come through. So, this description of Hanumanji having these ears and they're pierced. The pierced ear generally happens, and you'll notice the sages or the monks who give up, they get a pierced ear when they have attained a certain level of knowledge. And so this also signifies the ability that Hanumanji is basically one of the most knowledgeable. Why is this knowledge so important? Let's go back to the line right before. Kumiti nivar sumit ke sangi. Kumiti also signifies movement, the web, chaotic mind. Nivar is the one who resolves things of that sort. So he is there to resolve. When your mind is running and it's a hamster on the wheel, he's the one who comes. Sumati means clears it. He clears that chaoticness of the mind and he brings it to the level of Shanti, peace. How else can we get control of these desires and thoughts that are coming up? Think of his form now. Now you're going to get from his beauty, from his knowledge, you're going to get to his more powerful form. So what does it say? Hat braj or dhwaja biraje. What is he carrying in his hand? Hat vajra, which is that weapon, the thunderbolt weapon. And a dhwaja, a flag, signifying here he is, all powerful. In your hands shines a mace and a flag of righteousness. And then kandhe means kandha. Kandhe munj janeyu saje. He is wearing that sacred thread. Why would one describe the sacred thread at this time? Some of you might know when the sacred thread is given. The thread, basically, a lot of customs have it. We wear the thread is given at the time when the child is moving into the period of learning, around 9 to 11, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it is given as a chant that they need to do every day. It's the Gayatri month, which, by the way, I said right at the beginning. It's the Gayatri month. So obviously, we are invoking Lord Hanuman. He is giving you the steps. These are the steps we're taking towards understanding how does one get to conquer that chaotic mind, to sit in that samadhi and get closeness and understanding and knowledge. शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया. Sankar Suvana Kesari Nandan. Sankar is Shankarji, Shiva. So you're learning right now. He's the embodiment. He's also known as the son of Shiva or a part of Shiva. As you all found out last week, I told you guys the stories and stuff about Hanumanji. Shankar Suvana Kesari Nandan, the one whose Kesari was his father's name. So Hanumanji's story, the way it goes, is the seed of Shiva, a part of his body, is carried by Vayu because it's so strong and so tejasvi. It is carried by Lord Vayu and it's impregnated into Anjani, his mother, who had been doing a lot of tapas, wishing for Shiva to be born as his son. Her husband is the king Kesari. So he is the son of Kesari. And then the second line says, Tej Pratap. Tej means Tejasvi. It is the Sanskrit word to imply the brilliance of millions of suns. Tej Pratap Mahajagavan. If you can imagine him, there's just so much Tejasvi coming out of him. The whole universe worships you because of this unlimited glory that you contain within you. Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur. Vidyavan means the one who is the wisest of the wise. Vidya is knowledge. Guni ati chatur. Chatur. Ram kaj karibe ko atur. You are always ready to do the work of Lord Ram. Always eager. Vidyavan guni ati chatur. Ram kaj karibe ko atur. So Lord Hanuman can only step in as your pran. Pran can only function for the right actions. Actions that are what's the word for it? That are instructed through your soul. So often, I remember I've talked to, and I will spend a little time telling you all about the different minds that are within us and where does the soul reside. For the soul's brilliance to shine through, it needs somebody like Hanumanji. Clear glass is the one that lets the light through. Opaque glass, full of thoughts, chaotic minds cannot let the light through. So this is the meaning of Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur, Ram Kaj Karibe Ko Atur. Prabhu Charitra Sunibe Ko Rasiya, Ram Lakhan Sita Man Basiya. Prabhu Charitra Sunibe. Charitra means your heart, your within you, residing within you. You feel extremely delighted in listening. So this is the this is the translation given. You feel extremely delighted in listening to Lord Ram's doings and conduct. And Lord Ram, Mother Sita, and Lord Lakshman dwell in your heart. Prabhu Charitra Sunibe ko rasya. Sunibe means to listen to. So why is Lord Hanuman, your pran, constantly listening to the stories of Ram? The symbolism is you have to listen to that dhuni, that om, that soul, the sound of your soul, what it's trying to say. And if you keep constantly listening and tapping inside, you will then be able to project that outside and your reality will change and shifts. Who resides in Hanumanji's pure heart? Lord Ram, Ma Sita, and Lord Lakshman. So this was my the first 8. I didn't get to the last 2, but I'm going to go ahead and read them to you just generally, and we can cover them. I'm happy to actually take questions today because I think this is there's a lot of literal translations I have, but a lot of deeper meanings that I can give you. Verse number 9. Sukshma roop dhari siha dikhawa, vikat roop dhari lank jarawa. Bhim roop dhari asura sahare, Ramchandra ke kaj savare. So that takes us into what is the work that he starts doing. Before I get into that, I actually wanted to spend and explain to you. Today, I was going to explain why is Lord Hanumanji, what are the secrets he tells you as a devotee, okay? In the pursuit of perfection, whether it is that you are in your career, in your household, in your life, the pursuit of perfection requires certain discipline. Hanumanji comes and teaches you how to be that devotee that is completely and utterly surrendered and devout. And I was thinking about this and I realized, I remember when there is a Babaji, Neem Karoli Babaji, this story came to me. Neem Karoli Babaji is actually, some people say is a Hanumanji. because Hanumanji, according to all the Shastras out there, is a Chiranjeevi, if I remember, I told you about this. Chiranjeevi is one who lives, is an immortal. That means he lives on all these realms. He doesn't have a birth. He has the birth, but he doesn't have a death. And so Neem Karoli Baba ji is a saint in India. And Steve Jobs went to him when he needed solace. Mark Zuckerberg went to him when he needed solace. And it's interesting that Indians and Hindus all recognize him to be a form of Lord Hanuman. And some point in all of our lives, it doesn't matter where we are, what human beings, whether we are American, Indian, Japanese, Chinese, we all come to the foot where the goals that we have set for ourselves might not be bearing the fruits we expect. And Hanumanji shows you the story of Ram Sita and his role in it, shows you how to surrender, work like there is no tomorrow, put all your efforts in. He doesn't even realize the power that is within him. When Hanumanji gets to the end of India and he has to fly over to Lanka, he doesn't know what to do because the power for him to know that he can fly had been put in his subconscious because when he was a child they got very scared that he's going to use this power and he's going to cause chaos. So now Jatayu, the bird, the king of the birds, comes and reminds him that, hey, you are Hanuman. You are the son of the wind god. You don't have to walk across this ocean or worry about it. You can simply fly over it. So, what is he showing us is when you give up utterly devotion, you give up the results of what you are seeking, then God steps in. Then your consciousness steps in. Then Hanumanji steps in. And things unfold the way they should. When he is given the most impossible tasks, and we will go through the story if some of you haven't heard the story in the Ramayana, of what these impossible tasks were. Finding Shakti for Lord Ram. His Shakti, Sita, has been separated. Who brings that together? Hanumanji. It is a symbol of what is within us. The Kundalini that rests at the Muladhar is separated from Shiva in your Sahasrar. And it is Hanuman, your Pran, that brings it together. When you all start doing the first step in any meditation, whether you learn Kundalini or you learn calming breath, you learn pranayam, you go to Kriya Yoga, any of the basic meditations, you take up a meditation app, the first steps they will tell you about is to sit quietly and then allow pran to control your breath, your mind, and your thoughts. That is the role Hanumanji plays. Isn't that beautiful? And Tulsidas ji has written this in 40 verses to teach you how to meditate, how to reach for the fruits of your labors externally by giving up the results internally. So this is the first 10 we're covering today, 8 actually. Next week we'll do another 10, another 10, another 10, and I'll give you different meanings. If you're able to circle, if you have the Hanuman Chalisa, you want to circle it. It's really important. You don't have to know the whole meaning the way I chant it. I understand one word of it. It reminds me what that is. So when I look at Prabhu Charitra Sunibeko Rasya, Prabhu I know is God. Charitra is stories. Immediately I know this is about Hanumanji, always listening to Lord Ram's stories. And why? Because who resides inside of him? The triumvirate, that is Ram, Sita, and Lakshman. You can even think of them as God, His Son, and the Holy Spirit. You can think of it as Shiva, Shakti, and your pran, your soul. these are all symbols. It is a symbolic poem. And so I am open to listening to any questions if anyone has. You guys are all on mute, so I can unmute everyone. Let me let me start with my mom because in case my mom doesn't know how to unmute. uh, there you go. You're unmuted, mom.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Indra,
he was
any
recalling
questions?
how Shiva's energy was brought as Hanuman, right?
Correct, ma. Yes, yes.
So
It was.
you know how Anjani was chosen to carry the energy of Shiv.
Oh no, do you want to share us? Mom, you have such a plethora of stories. Do share.
Anjani was one of the apsaras in Indra's court, and she was chanchal bolte na, or couldn't sit in one place just like a monkey.
Mm,
So they told her, go to the earth and be a monkey. So she came, and Apsara became a monkey woman. She
mm-hmm,
monkey, and she married Kesari.
mm-hmm,
So when the time came for Shiva to give his energy, for Lord Ram to be born, for he had to send his energy long before. You know, Shiv always, wherever Vishnu is, Shiv is there.
correct. Every avatar, Shiva will
They have
come
to be
to help him.
together to get rid of evil.
Mm-hmm,
So he, so he called the sun god, the sun god Vayu, and he says, "There is no way Anjani will be able to carry my energy.
mm-hmm,
It's so strong. So you have to help her." So the Vayu Dev actually held the Hanumans, the
oh,
energy of Shiv, in her
oh,
womb.
oh, okay.
And she had to pray for 11 years before she conceived that energy.
Wow,
And that's how Hanuman was born. And
wow.
that is why Hanuman is called Shiva's son, or a part of Shiva, his energy,
His Ansh
Kesari Nandan, and Vayu Putra.
and Anjani Putra also.
Anjani Putra also, but Vayu Putra.
Correct.
Vayu, so since he was young, the Vayu Dev was with him, taught him how to fly, how to this thing. But he learned how to fly, and he started flying everywhere, taking his friends for a ride.
Yes,
After all, he came as a monkey
yes, yes, yes.
because Ravan had taken the boon that no one can kill him except a monkey and a man.
Yeah,
So man was Ram and monkey was Shiva.
yeah.
So that's how.
Oh, thank you, Mom, for sharing this part about how he was, how he's named Anjani Putra and um, how actually Anjani was able to be the one who actually carried him
Yeah,
because of because of her tapas. Because as she came down from the heavens,
yeah,
she didn't want to,
yeah.
she wanted to ascend back, and so she was a devout
Conceive a
devotee of.
child, and the
Very nice.
priest told her, "You have to pray to Shiva. Keep praying, keep praying." And then the Vayu god came and said, "You have to do these rituals for 11 years before you can conceive the energy of uh, Shiva."
Wow. On that note, we're gonna end. Thank you, Mommy, for sharing that story. It was beautiful, and a perfect addition to